Thank you very much. Before turning it over to Rich, I'd just like to introduce those members of the head table that are not speaking with us. Hold your applause to the end. Mayor Enzo Fienza from the town of Cromwell, Mayor Dan Drew from the city of Middletown, Controller Kevin Lembo, who has really been an unbelievable supporter of our chamber, traveling throughout Middlesex County. Every year he does this for our different divisions. He deserves a special round of applause as he does that for us all the time. Vin Capice, who will be our chairman next year, Paul Schickman, the great AD at Central Connecticut State University, Anna Wasessa, the president of Middlesex Community College, who is also doing an unbelievable job. Ann Evans from the Department of Commerce, Bernie Sweeney from the United States Small Business Administration, and a special guest with us, the head of the New England region for the United States Small Business Administration, Seth Goodall. Came down from Boston because he's a UConn Husky grad. So congratulations for all of them. Now I'll turn it over to Rich Corella, our great chairperson.
Morning, everyone. Great weekend, wasn't it? I'll tell you, it's been beautiful out. It could be a little bit warmer, but it's been great. I want to welcome all our state and local officials. There's a green sheet on your table with all the people that are here this morning who represent our local municipalities and agencies of the state. We have a number of new members seated at our table over here. I want to welcome Advi Coach from Iverton. That's a business consulting firm. Why don't you stand up as I announce your firm. CNC Janitorial Supplies of Newington. ICRV Radio of Chester. This is an internet-based Connecticut River Valley radio station that's available streaming on the web and on the radio. And you can go to icrvradio.com and get a mobile app too. JDN Corporation of New London. This is a industrial geothermal HVAC development company. Welcome to our chamber. And Paycor of Cincinnati, Ohio. Welcome to all our new members. Jason Susi came up to me before. He said he knows the Travelers Championship is coming around the corner because we have our own golf tournament coming on May 1st, this Friday, for the Chamber. It's another sold-out event, but there is a waiting list, so contact Johanna if you're interested. Congratulations also go out to a number of people associated with our Chamber that were named 2015 Women in Business by the Hartford Business Journal, and they include President Susan Herbst, Kristen Roberts from Comcast, Catherine Smith, Commissioner of the State Department of Economic and Community Development, and Carol Wallace of Cooper Atkins. Congratulations to those great women in business. Kathleen Hughes from Perk on Main was named the 2015 Women-Owned Business of the Year from the U.S. Small Business Administration. Where's Kathleen? Is she here today? Congratulations, Kathleen. And Augusto Russell from Mayboney and Walsh was named the Professional Insurance Agent of the Year by PIA Connecticut. Where's Augusto? I saw him earlier. There you go, Augusto. Congratulations. Thanks. Back to you, Larry.
We run a lot of programs, and today we're going to be recognizing some business education programs in our mentor program that are so special to us. But also, we run a unique cook-chef program here at the Chamber that really started when Tommy Serra was the director of Vinyl Tech. We take 10 restaurants. We get 10 of their employees. They could be dishwashers or different areas, and we give them an intensive 10-week training session at Vinyl, and from that they move up the ladder to more productive and better jobs. And it's a great program funded by the Labor Department. We have both Chef Nick and Chef Tom with us. Will they please stand and be recognized for a great program that the Chamber runs? Thank you very much, guys. As you know, our chamber is very unique in the fact that not only are we a strong proponent of business getting out on many zoning issues before planning and zoning commissions, inland wetlands, very, very pro-business, controversial sometime in support of business, but we also do a lot of activities in the community. One of which we spend a lot of time on, and it's really chaired by Tommy Serra, who has done a magnificent job with our Business Education Partners Advisory Council. It gives me a great honor now to introduce Tom, who not only when he was at Vinyl was a strong supporter, when he was mayor of the city of Middletown, a strong supporter, now as majority leader on the council, continues to support our chamber, and he gives up hundreds of hours a year towards our chamber and volunteer service. Tom Serra.
President Herbst, welcome. I am a graduate of Eastern, but my graduate degrees are from the University of Connecticut. I spent 6 years up there traveling from Middletown all the way to Storrs. Great preparation for whatever I have done in my careers. The Chamber of Commerce obviously has the Business Education Advisory Committee and has tons of supporters and sponsors that make this work. And we'd like to recognize, and please stand, Eversource Energy, if you have representatives here, Pratt & Whitney Aircraft, and Wesleyan University. Any individuals here, thank you very much for your support. And if the members of the Business Advisory Council, please stand, be recognized. Please stand. These are volunteer individuals. Please stand. Please stand. A special recognition to Donald Finkelstein, Michael Fienza, Dean of Students at Vinyl, and Rosario Rizzo, formerly of Pratt Whitney, now is a consultant. Please stand, these three individuals, because they are the mainstay. Michael Fienza, how are you? Stand up, Michael. Anna. And also, I'd like to give credit to Vinyl VICA, with individuals with the red blazers. Please stand up because they help us. Please stand up from Vinyl Technical High School. Vocational Industrial Clubs of America. Thank you very much because they help us in organizing the day that we have at the Wesleyan Hockey Rink. It's the 10th Career Expo that we have on April 30th with approximately 120 presenters and approximately 1,200 students come through there to see what careers that they might be interested in. So again, thank you to all, thank you to Larry, and thank you all for your listening to me.
A few years ago, Hal Kaplan came up to me, and Dave Larson was one. Dave is with us here today, former superintendent of schools. And they asked, would we be interested in the city of Middletown to get a program going for mentors, to get the business community to help students out that really needed support and role models. Too often our role models are for kids or maybe athletes or others which are good in some areas and so-so in others. But business people tend to give up a lot of their time and energy and are committed to their communities and probably can be a terrific resource for the young people. From that, Hal Kaplan took this program, and as you know, our mentor program, along with our Side Street to Main Street program, which are led by Jennifer DeKine. Wave back there, Jennifer. Jennifer's in the back. It does a great job, both our business education mentor and also our Side Street to Main Street program. And these are volunteers that give up every week hours a day dealing with kids in the city of Middletown that need support. It gives me a great honor now to introduce Cheryl Kraft, who's the chairperson of this wonderful committee. Cheryl.
Thank you, Larry. Good morning, chamber members and mentors. The Hal Kaplan Middletown Mentor Program was initiated in 1992 and proudly celebrates over 22 years of providing mentors to children attending Middletown Public Schools. Mentors come from Middlesex County Chamber of Commerce, member business affiliate employees, Liberty Bank, Seasons Federal Credit Union, and Connecticut Valley Hospital. Independent mentors are employees from the City of Middletown, including the police and fire departments, other chamber member companies, and private individuals. There continues to be a need for more mentors. Upon leaving, information is available at the exit. A special thanks to our tremendous supporters for their contributions to the Hal Kaplan Middletown Mentor Program. Liberty Bank Foundation, Middle Oak, Middletown Board of Education, Seasons Federal Credit Union, and Connecticut Valley Hospital. It has been a pleasure to work with Jennifer DeKine, Sylvia Webb, and the Middlesex County Chamber of Commerce. At this time, I ask all mentors and the Middletown Mentor Core Committee members to stand and be recognized. Thank you.
Very good. We're moving fast today. That's really good. Nathan, you got more time now today, so that's good, huh? Not yet, okay. A couple of things that I know that Tom mentioned Donald Finkelstein, and I want to thank her also because she was one of the individuals that came to us way back when we had Coach Calhoun here speaking to an event and asked us to partner with her to get involved with the consortium of education throughout the county. So Donna, we wouldn't be involved in these programs similar to Dave Larson with the mentor program if it wasn't for people like you with your ideas and your supports. For that, I am forever grateful. Thank you very much. Have a round of applause for her. And Sylvia Webb, will you please stand up? Sylvia, I want to thank you for the time, energy, dedication. Former principal in the Middletown school system, retired, has taken over from Hal Kaplan, leading our mentor program. I really want to thank you for everything, along with Cheryl, what she's done, and Jennifer for a great job. Thank you very, very much. Our annual dinner will be Wednesday, June 3rd. We'll be recognizing Rich Corella for a great year of leadership, and recognizing also Vin Capice coming in, and giving our distinguished citizens that day to Fran Adams, Tim Arborio, and Teresa Oplas. That's June 3rd. You can go on our webpage and sign up for that. Also, Johanna would be upset with me if I didn't mention that you have to get your proxy in. We need those in. We have a big membership base, so it's important that we get about 400 of these in, so we write with the state requirements with everything we're doing in here, especially with our annual meeting. As you know, our Travelers Golf Tournament is coming up. It's our big event in the state of Connecticut, and we're really, really pleased every year with the amount of people that come into Middlesex County and the state of Connecticut. Nathan Grube has just done a wonderful job as this tournament has skyrocketed forward over the past few years, along with Andy Bissett from the Travelers. Nathan, thank you for your great support, and I'd like to call upon you now for remarks. Thank you.
Never say that I have time behind a mic. I have a PowerPoint that I prepared for the next 10 years of the Travelers Championship. We can go through each year by year. 55 days to the tournament. Thank you. Even though it snowed last week in Connecticut, I promise you, summer is around the corner. We're just going to skip spring, go right into the tournament. It's going to be a fun couple weeks over the next few weeks. We'll be announcing more player commitments, the bands for the concert series, speakers for Women's Day, celebrities for our Celebrity Pro-Am. It's going to be a lot of fun. Ticket sales are about 20% year over year. So thank you for your support and coming out. The crowds, as Larry mentioned, when that's on television, that sends quite an impressive message to the rest of the world about how this community supports professional sports. So, President Herbst, I do want to say I always try to make a connection between the few minutes that Larry gives me to talk about the tournament and our speaker, and I want to say thank you for what you do. We feel like we represent the brand of Connecticut in professional sports, and what you do representing the brand of Connecticut everywhere else in the world with what you do. We thank you for the message that you've sent about what's happening here in the state with the university and everything that it touches. So thank you very much for that, and for the support of your staff and playing in our celebrity program. It's a lot of fun. I understand you're starting to play a little bit more. So I will say this. You're officially invited. It's quite an experience to have 5,000 people screaming for you on the first tee. But what will scare you to death is when they go silent and they're just staring at you, waiting. It's a very different experience. So when you're ready for that, you're officially invited. So thank you very much. See everybody soon.
Rochelle will be your caddy for that if you want, okay? Okay, a couple things. First of all, I want to recognize some of the people from the University of Connecticut that are with us here today. Bill Pizzuto, who does a tremendous job as director of the Waterbury branch of the University of Connecticut. We have some of our trustees with us here today. Michael Daniels, our student trustee. And I think that's one of the joys that of all the years that I've had in higher ed, both chair of CSU and now at the University of Connecticut, is dealing with these student trustees who just do a great job. I'm very proud of you, Michael, and I know you're going to have great success in your life. Rick Carberry is with us here today on our board. Tom Ritter is with us. And also we have two members of our foundation with us, Josh Newton, Chief Executive Officer of the foundation, who's done a fantastic job. Then he's taking the foundation over and has skyrocketed it forward. As you know, that they're looking to raise $150 million for scholarship over the next year. He raised $80 million last year, which was an unbelievable year. And without Coleman Levy, who is the chairman of the foundation, UConn Foundation, who gives up another one, hundreds of hours or so, like our trustees at UConn, for volunteer time. So let's have a round of applause for all of them, these great volunteers, and Rochelle Rubin, Chief of Staff, that has to put up with me. Before introducing Chandler, which is always a great honor, I publicly want to thank Susan Herbst for her outstanding leadership. I've been involved in higher ed since 1983, when Governor O'Neill appointed me to at that time, the Connecticut State College system. And then it morphed into the Connecticut State University system, and Governor Rowland appointed me chair of that in 1995, and as you know, Governor Rell moved me over to UConn in 2009. So I've seen a lot of leaders in higher ed over the past 32, 33 years. Susan Herbst is one of those really unique leaders that makes decisions, move forward with decisions, more importantly, makes hard, tough decisions and move forward with those decisions to make the University of Connecticut a better place for its students, but more importantly, a better place for every citizen in the state of Connecticut. When she was interviewed for the job, and Tom Ritter was on the search committee with me, one of the things that she said was, we don't want the University of Connecticut to be what it is now. We want it to be like Michigan and the other great public higher education institutions. Well, as you can see, over the past 4 years, how UConn has moved up now into the top 20 educationally of public universities, and with the programs that she's leading us forward with, creating a university that will compete and win over every other university in our country. And as I say this from the business community point of view, without a university, a flagship university, like the University of Connecticut, the business community suffers. With the way UConn is going, the students that are coming into UConn and staying here in the state of Connecticut will guarantee an economy for a long, long period of time. And that is Susan Herbst. That will be her legacy. Not for what she's doing now or the next 5, 10 years, but 20, 30 years down the line, where UConn will be known as a premier educational institution in our great country. We also have an unbelievable headquartered bank in Middletown, Liberty Bank, that does so much for our community. Chandler Howard is another one of those unique leaders. He walks the walk. He's out there constantly giving back to everyone in the Liberty footprint. Through the foundation, with Sue's great leadership, the amount of programs that Liberty does for those people that need help is unparalleled in the state of Connecticut. I consider Chandler not only a great corporate leader, but more importantly to me, a wonderful dear friend. Our former chairman of the chamber, an outstanding leader, Chandler Howard.
Thank you, Larry, and good morning, everyone. You know, about a year or so ago, Larry was introducing me in an event, and I overheard my wife lean to the person next to her and saying, "Who is that guy? He sounds like a nice guy." So, Larry, thank you for that introduction. On behalf of Liberty Bank, it really is a great pleasure for me to be here in support of this morning's breakfast that recognizes the vital link between education and business. And that connection is really built into the culture at Liberty Bank. In fact, a major funding priority for the Liberty Bank Foundation is education that leads to economic success for people of low or moderate income. The programs we support range from early literacy initiatives for very young children, to mentoring and tutoring for elementary school students, to career and college exploration, and youth employment for those in middle and high schools. Beyond that, we have scholarships for high school graduates going on to community colleges in our service area, and a special grant program to support early literacy in K-3 public schools. So Dr. Herbst, we're committed to education at Liberty. And it doesn't stop with the children. We also invest in parent leadership and engagement training, adult education, and employment skills training. Last year alone, we awarded over $350,000 in grants for all of those purposes. Our investment in education includes more than just dollars as well. Liberty employees volunteer their time and talent to education-related programs all over our service area. The Middletown Mentor Program, operated by this chamber, is just one of them. And I'd like to take a moment to recognize our very own Michelle Mazzata, who has served on the Mentor Core Committee since its inception, as well as the 3 Liberty Bank mentors who are with us today. If you'll just raise your hand so we can acknowledge you. And tomorrow, we'll be at Montville High School presenting our 3rd Credit for Life Fair to help students learn how to manage their money. Middletown High and New London had their turns earlier this month. We've been producing this educational opportunity for 8 years now, and it involves around 30 to 40 Liberty employee volunteers at each one of these fairs. In addition, local school systems, PTOs, church youth groups, arts organizations, athletic teams, and many other organizations have benefited from the energy and enthusiasm of Liberty bankers. We try to help that along by giving every Liberty employee the opportunity to take 4 full paid days off to do volunteer work each year. And that translated in 2014 to roughly 300 of our employees who spent over 14,000 hours doing community service for 336 different nonprofit organizations. So I could go on and on. Larry said I needed to fill up some time, but so I think that explains why we felt that sponsoring this breakfast was such a good fit for us. We understand, as I'm sure everyone here does, that education is critical to the prosperity and quality of life of our business, our state, and our nation. And Connecticut's flagship university plays a key role in ensuring that our residents have access to higher educational opportunities that are second to none. So it is my great pleasure to introduce to you today Dr. Susan Herbst, the 15th president of the University of Connecticut. Dr. Herbst is a graduate of Duke University and holds a PhD from the University of Southern California, Annenberg School for Communication. She began her academic career at Northwestern University in 1989 and remained there in various posts until 2003. She subsequently moved to positions at Temple University and the State University of New York at Albany. Before coming to UConn in 2010, she served as Executive Vice Chancellor and Chief Academic Officer of the University System of Georgia. And get this statistic, in that role, she led 15 university presidents and oversaw the academic missions for all 35 public universities in the state of Georgia. Dr. Herbst is the author of 4 books and many articles about public opinion, media, and American politics. She is a co-editor of the University of Chicago Press Series in American Politics and serves on the board of directors of the American Council on Education. We are so fortunate this morning to have this distinguished scholar and accomplished leader heading up the University of Connecticut. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in giving a warm Middlesex County Chamber of Commerce welcome to Dr. Susan Herbst.
Thanks, everybody. Thanks so much, Chandler, for being such a great supporter of the university and for a lovely introduction. I really appreciate it. Many thanks to Larry for having me here today. He is our beacon in all ways. He is UConn's lighthouse. That's how I like to think of him. He watches over us. He guides us. He protects us with his wisdom, his great judgment. He inspires us. He's my coach. And he inspires me like he has so many people in this room who have talked about him with me, his enthusiasm and his love of life every day. So I think the sun always shines in Middlesex County because of him. Thanks to so many of you here today for your support of the university, the economy, the state. These are very tough times, no matter how glorious the spring weather is. So I really appreciate your dedication now more than ever. Several UConn trustees and leaders are here, as Larry mentioned, although there's nothing I'll talk about today that they're not a part of and they don't know about it. So no surprises, UConn people. I may be the president, but UConn, like all large, complex universities, is run by a team of colleagues. And that's why it's such a pleasure for me to serve every day. So I don't want to give a lengthy State of the University speech. I did that earlier this year, and it's on the internet if you want to know everything that's going on. And college professors, and that's what I am at heart, we can talk for hours nonstop, without interruption. But today, I want to be briefer and hit on our primary university goals and how I see the future. And glad to take questions as time allows, any subject. I'm always glad to get questions from engaged audiences like this because I always learn something. It's always really beneficial to me and to the university. So I always discuss 4 broad areas when I give an update because we can't take our eyes off of them. They are our pillars, they're the core of what we care about. So student success, research and economic development, and those 2 things are tied together pretty much always, philanthropy, and communication. All the other stuff that we do day to day, from budgeting to government affairs work, is all done in the hopes of strengthening those 4 pillars. So first, student success, and I put it first because it is first. Our students are amazing, as so many of you know already. You actually physically produce them, many of them. And so I thank you for entrusting them with us in stores at Waterbury, Avery Point, Torrington, Farmington, West Hartford, and Stamford. But you don't have to believe me bragging about our students. Their success is empirical and it's obvious. They've won most of the big national student competitions for a long time now. Fulbright scholarships, the Goldwater, very competitive, the Truman Fellowship. For the first time ever, 2 of our students almost won the Rhodes Scholarship. That's the last award that we need to completely feather our bonnet. So very close, a little disappointing. Pat Lenahan, who plays on the men's basketball team, was one of them, and he's an amazing kid. But that's not all of it. You know, winning these awards. Most success can be found across the student body, and it manifests itself in many, many ways. You know, I meet students daily, and it's the pleasure of doing my job, who are starting companies, who are going off to the best law schools, medical schools, graduate programs in the world. Many find jobs right away at a school with gratification and a higher salary than any of us ever received right out of college, and it's terrific. We make these students successful, our faculty, our staff in particular, through the kind of support that we give them. But the truth is that they come to us and they're already pretty damn smart. Our SATs continue to climb. At the main campus alone, we have 77 valedictorians. Our students, a year. Our students are intelligent, they're serious, they're incredibly diverse by ethnicity, by country of origin, and by socioeconomic status. Don't let the sensational newspaper stories about a naughty student or fraternity here and there fool you at all or distract you. Most of our students are making us proud every day and do nothing naughty at all, far from it. With regard to tuition, the cost of higher education is in the news a lot these days, and I think you'll hear a lot of it over the course of your lifetime. Certainly as the presidential election comes around, it'll be a major issue. And I want to assure you that at UConn, we are a tremendous value, competitive with our peers, and most importantly, our students receive financial aid when they need it. As you probably know, a lot of you have children who have gone to college or considering college. Our sticker price is very low, but that's not what 80% of our students even pay. Taken together, graduates and undergraduates, we gave out about $428 million in financial aid last year. Outright grants, loans, waivers, work-study jobs. So again, don't pay attention to stories of outrageous tuition on the nightly news. Your top 20 flagship university is joyfully affordable, and we really work on it daily. Tuition will rise at public universities as our state appropriations fall, but we'll do our very best to help the students that really need financial aid, and it's one of the things we hold most dear. But really, nothing speaks more loudly about affordability, value, and excellence than the number of applications that a college receives. We at UConn cannot stop the tsunami of applications. It gets larger each year. This year, 34,000 applications for just over 3,500 seats at stores. We are not too expensive, far from it. We're well priced, we serve our students well, and we give them a great experience. One of the things that really bothers me is all the talk about the cost of college. College is not a cost, like reporters and politicians like to say. They know, and you all know, that spending money on a young person's education is an investment. It is not a cost. It's an investment that enables them to build great careers, become leaders, and be citizens who support the state and the nation. It's not like car payments or mortgage payments. It's an investment in people. A quick note about study abroad, one of my favorite topics. It's one of the areas that we need to accelerate at the university. It's my dream that every single UConn student travels somewhere far beyond Connecticut, even for a few weeks, hopefully a semester or a year. It helps them to grow. It's transformational, intellectually, and with regard to their character. So at UConn, we want to make global citizens who know the world is a big, complex place, and it's all theirs if they have ambition and if they have energy. So student success, number one. Number two, second area of importance to us, great importance to us, is research. We are a top 20 public research university, a top research university even among the many thousands of private institutions where research is conducted. So we compete with everybody. Our scientists discover drugs, new surgical techniques, the genetic bases of diseases, novel approaches to manufacturing, advances in energy, sustainability, and new ways to protect cybersecurity. But they also develop new artistic techniques, theatrical approaches, and economic theories. There's always more talk about science and engineering, about STEM, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, because you can touch the results. And conducting 21st century science is extremely expensive. Also, science and technology are vital to our role as an economic engine for the state and for the nation. Faculty scientists, they bring in federal money that has a multiplier effect on our economy. They start companies, they garner royalties, patents for their inventions. They hire people in the local area and bring talent from around the world to live in Connecticut. And those people very often fall in love with Connecticut and they don't want to go home. But I assure you that the core of a research university still matters most, matters to us most. Our faculty write about leadership, they write about justice, about beauty, about ethics, community, about love. They break new ground in literature, in art criticism, philosophy, music. They make the world worth living in and bring their contagious enthusiasm to our students so that they too can see the complexity of the world, appreciate it, enjoy it, argue about it, navigate it. So this is heady stuff, I realize, especially at this hour, but it's what we love to do. It's what we love to do. It's why I became a professor in the first place, to discover and then to teach our students what I learned. As a political scientist, I never had a lab with test tubes or a spectrometer or an fMRI, but I did what so many of our non-science faculty do, and it matters as much as discovery in any other area. Third area that I like to talk about is philanthropy, and we do have our president of the foundation here, Josh Newton, and the head of our board, Coleman Levy. Thanks to them, the foundation is in wonderful shape. Josh has assembled an amazing team of fundraisers. They're across all parts of the university, and they travel a lot across the state and the nation. As the state budget becomes less reliable for higher education, we have to build our endowment and we have to build our annual fund. We're on the road like never before, literally and figuratively. 2 years ago, we raised about $60 million, up to $82 million last year. We need to get to about $100 million every year. It's tough. It's going to take a little bit of time. But we really need to protect the foundation, the UConn Foundation. Nothing about its current structure or practices needs significant changing. Despite what you read in the paper, just the opposite. Let's not fix something that is not broken, but is in fact working magnificently to strengthen our flagship university, to provide scholarships for our students, to support our faculty in their research. Our endowment is relatively tiny compared to the great universities we compete against, and that has to change. It's only an endowment, it is only fundraising that protects a university from a faltering economy and enables it to run on its own, to give scholarships to our needy students, enable the faculty to do their best work, and to keep the campuses beautiful and functional for visitors from around the world, for prospective students, for all the lecturers that come to us to share their knowledge, helps us to attract faculty. So fundraising is important for all of those things, but most of all, to protect the university into eternity. I should note that a campus looking good is not some superficial surface-level obsession of ours, and it is true that I jog the campus and I have my iPhone and I'm always taking pictures, and the facilities guys have been saintly, I think is the right word, about my feedback. No one wants to invest in a campus that doesn't look sharp and doesn't feel right. No one wants to work at a place that's deteriorating, and nobody wants their child to leave their child off at a dorm that's falling apart. Most of all, a university is a very precious place. It's an academic park. It is supposed to be a bucolic place for thinking, for intellectual discourse, and for the socializing that young people have to do as they figure out who they are. We are Connecticut, and no matter what the climate is, we should look as sharp as Michigan or Berkeley or Chapel Hill or all the great institutions of higher learning that we compete with every day and that make America great. Finally, my last category is communications. We love our sports. We have one of the best athletic programs in the nation. Any university president would kill to have our sports program. It is so incredibly successful. But you should know that we don't make a profit from it. So this is one of the myths I go around dispelling all the time. Few universities make a profit from athletics. In fact, we have athletic programs, Division I programs, and also intramurals to have fun, to get our students building their bodies, to bring our alums and our fans together and show that we are great, that we are the best in so many things. Athletics gets the attention it deserves, and it's worth every single penny that we invest in it. I was asked by USA Today recently about coaches' salaries, and I said that we'll pay market value for great people, whether they're coaches, faculty, staff, surgeons at John Dempsey Hospital, vice presidents. Coaches make the most, of course, more than me certainly, and they should. I thankfully don't have to do my job on ESPN at 9 o'clock Eastern Time. Only the best can take that kind of heat, and I'm enormously proud of them, all of our coaches, as ambassadors for the university. All that said, we need to do a much better job at the university telling the larger story of the university. Athletics is our front porch, but we need everyone to open the door of the house and come into an amazing research university. Enjoy the sports, but see that we have scientists working on cures for cancer, for Parkinson's. We have composers writing new symphonies, students inventing computer programs, alumni who lead major corporations, run school districts and nonprofits, become diplomats, act on Broadway. It's our job to articulate what we do and the value that we bring to the state and to the nation. So please watch for an even more powerful communication as we tell our story, our intellectual story, our academic story, right alongside of the story of our tremendous athletic prowess. So again, thanks so much for coming out at what everybody except Larry McHugh thinks is an ungodly hour for serious talk. Almost everybody. Last year, we had Governor Malloy come to campus, come to Storrs, to speak to a large group of student leaders, undergraduate leaders. And one student asked him, "Governor, what's the secret to your personal success?" You know, because he had such a life of struggle and succeeded so well. You know, what kind of advice do you have for a student like me? And the governor said, "Get up and eat breakfast." Everyone laughed, but we all knew exactly what he meant. You know, wake up, be alive, be fit, be ambitious, go chase your dreams. So thanks again for having me here. I would love to hear your questions, and grateful for your support. We're coming up to commencement. That's my favorite time of year, and then it gets nice and quiet. So thanks, everybody. Thank you.
Any questions?
Yeah.
Madam President, thank you very much for your speech this morning. I work in the financial services industry, and a lot of my young clients have a challenge where the cost of living in Connecticut is on the high side, and they're also struggling at the same time with student debt. And some of them think about moving out of state, some of them think about moving down south in particular, where the cost of living may be better. What is the university doing, particularly for their students after they graduate, to help them remain here in Connecticut and be able to successfully build their businesses and professions?
Yeah, that's an excellent question. I think that UConn, as with many colleges and universities, has been very slow to help students, find their passion, develop their careers, and find jobs. So I think you'll see at universities across the country really beefed up career centers. It used to be a place, for those of you who are my age or older, a career center was just a place where you took your resume and they, polished it up a little, made it look presentable. But we do far more than that now at UConn. Much of it is about helping the students take whatever passion they have and turn it into something that's going to be useful in the world. Today's students are much more entrepreneurial than we ever were. A lot of them are starting their own businesses in school because they know that coming into a tough economy, they may not get a job right away. So they start thinking about it far in advance. We help them to do it. A lot of students today want to be like, Bill Gates or they think that they're never going to have to work for a big company. They don't want to work for the man. They don't want to work for a big organization, and some of them will be able to pull that off, and a lot of them won't. A lot of them will have to start out, as lower in an organization than they might think they should. They seem to want to come in at the top, so we disabuse them of that. But we, again, try to help them to take what they love to do and turn it into something marketable. In terms of the cost of living, it is true about Connecticut. The cost of living is high, but so are the salaries are higher too. Having lived around the country. So yeah, I was really shocked when I moved to Atlanta how cheap the food is. You go to a restaurant and everything is like a third less than it is here. But again, the salaries are lower as well. One of the things, so putting aside, helping our students to navigate the world and find jobs here in Connecticut or in the region, is developing the scientific mission and being the kind of economic engine that the governor and the legislature expect us to be. So the governor and legislature have invested a lot in UConn, and they need to if we are to produce jobs. So I spoke earlier about professors who invent, who start companies. They employ people. And the people who they employ, who they bring from out of state or out of country, they come here and they build lives. They pay taxes. They buy services. So the university works on this problem, and it's a problem. It's a challenge on multiple fronts. From the helping our students find their way all the way to the more macro level, trying to fuel the economy through investment. Unfortunately for the governor and the legislature, it does take a lot of upfront investment in equipment, in laboratories, for scientists to invent. 21st century science takes a lot of money, and we're lucky that we have such a generous state government, even in these tough times. So great question, thank you. Yeah.
President Herbst, the C-SPAN chat had a fantastic program about the future of education, online versus campus experience. We can argue one or the other is fantastic. Being a world-class university, leading the way, UConn has a role in that argument. So my question is, when the younger generation starts perceiving education and securing it through, they're really investing into the board with the curriculum that shapes their future. Is online education a big part of that future, or is that something that's just a passing fad?
Yeah, excellent question too, and it's something that we have been arguing about for now at least 5 or 6 years, really hard in higher education. And there are some very good things about online education and some problematic things. And there are some courses that really belong online. For example, learning to speak French. You know, it can be done very, very well via computer, or learning statistics. So there's some courses that are really appropriate for that, and there are some that aren't. So, you know, when you're teaching students how to argue, for example, about politics or literature, in person is better. And the truth is our students need to be with adults. They need to be with adults who care about them, who have experience in the world, who have wisdom, and who are not their parents. Because most of our students have some kind of, complex, fraught relationship with their parents. Sometimes they listen to them, sometimes they don't. And so Chandler was telling me that his give a lot of pushback. So that's a different kind of relationship. At college, we need people, adults, who care about our students in person, and there's no replacement for that. So one of the things that we've been trying to do at UConn to take great advantage of new technology, and also save some money, is to try to develop a mix of online courses that students can take and in-person courses. One of the things that I worry about in higher education, a lot of people do, is that we'll become two tracks. There will be the people who can afford to go to places like UConn, where you live. You get a lot of personal attention from adults who care about you and want to shape your career and help you. And then there's some people who won't be able to do that and will have to take most of their courses online and never, develop relationships with people who can really help them to succeed. So it's got to be a mix of things. We've got to figure out what we can do online and what we can't. We already have a large number of online courses, but I don't think there's any replacement for bricks and mortar and for a college campus and all the wonderful things that happen there in person. One more? Give me a hard one. Yeah. No, she says to the Middlesex. We're very committed to the entire state. And so maybe you mean like our move to downtown Hartford, which gets a lot of publicity. So we have a campus in West Hartford right now. It's a lovely place, but it does need a lot of investment. So we thought about it and thought, should we invest in those buildings, or should we move to downtown Hartford, where we started our Hartford campus, and try to be part of the city, try to be part of, I think, the resurgence of our capital city. So that's one of the most exciting things we're doing, as well as building up in Stamford and I got to say Waterbury, because the director of the Waterbury is here, campus is here, and we're going to have a Starbucks on Main Street in Waterbury, which really shows that it's coming along well. So we're very committed to all the counties in Connecticut, the state in general, and I don't think that'll ever go away, because it's the state, it's the taxpayers that make UConn what it is, and so we have to give back by way of educating students, being an economic engine, and also the kind of service work that we do that is critical, I think, for any big research university. So thanks, everybody. It was great to be here, and hope you have a wonderful day.